Hi guys, and welcome to the January 2024 update. Happy New Year, I guess. This is the 21st, so, probably said it before then. It's been kind of rough the last couple of weeks. Just after Christmas, my workplace flooded again, which is becoming quite tiring, but this is probably climate change at its work. And, it's been sort of difficult to get things done because after that we dropped down to like -4 temperatures around here, and I don't live in a house that has central heating, so it was quite cold for quite a while, and it sort of prevented me from spending too much time in my general work zone to get stuff done, which has been really annoying. But I still managed to get quite a lot of recording done elsewhere. But the things that I haven't made any progress on doing Curse, Eye of Isis, and some of the older games that I really wanted to cover, because I'm really looking for more variety and stuff, because I feel like a lot of the games that I've been covering lately have just been either like samey or just too short of an experience, like not full games. And that's kind of what, the thing is that the longer games are taking longer to do, obviously. But it's been sort of, the last couple of weeks have been not great. I've either been rained on, swamped, or frozen. And but, I did get some things done, and that's good. But I wanted to talk about all the stuff that's upcoming, and I've got a little, very, very, very short list in front of me, but there's all the other stuff that's on the Patreon that I'm working towards as well. So the first one I want to talk about is the buying guide introduction to horror games thing. Because I mentioned it on Discord, and I haven't probably mentioned it anywhere else because I haven't thought about it properly. Well, actually, I've been thinking about it a lot, but I haven't planned out exactly what I'm going to do. But what I think I'm going to do is I wanted to make an introduction guide to be like, well, if you want to get into playing horror games, these are the best places to start. This is the kind of resistances you're probably going to bump into, mostly wallet-wise. And I wanted to look at the games that you can play essentially for to get the most out of your money, really, the kind of experience that you're going to get. Because looking at stuff like, would you pay £500 so you can play Rule of Rose, or would you pay nothing so you can play Cry of Fear? Cry of Fear is a ridiculously good experience for the literal nothing that you pay for it. While some stuff like SCP Containment Breach nowadays is probably a bit, mostly because of how its randomized elements don't really present a properly scary time every time. You'll often just find it's sort of different each time that you play the game because of how it's procedurally generated and randomized. Whereas Cry of Fear is excellently crafted from start to finish, and they're both free, so even though they're both free, one's still a better experience than the other. And we're looking at the potential of the Silent Hill games, and people on the Discord were talking about how I should talk about the various Silent Hill games in terms of what one is the best one and stuff like that. And there's several ways to play it, and I've actually got, the only one I don't have the original Xbox version of Silent Hill 2 or 3. I don't have that. I have the games on PlayStation 2, and I have the game on PC, and I have the Silent Hill HD collection, so I can talk about all of them. But I'm not really here to do a massive comparison list. I just want to say which one is the one that's going to be worth it. And 9 times out of 10, if you can get the game for free somewhere, as long as you have no moral qualms about it, there it is. That's the way to get it, really. Because whilst everyone I love having the physical games, but I have to look very carefully at whether the experience is worth paying the money for them. If Silent Hill 2 was going for £30-40, I would be yeah, but it is the best psychological horror game ever made. But if, say, Condemned 2 was going for I'm just looking at the shelf. Condemned 2 was going for £40-50, I'd be maybe not. I would only if it was on sale. And I wanted the whole the digital side of it as well, because paying £12 for Darkwood still feels like a steal considering how good that game is. but paying £12 for like, you know, Chiller's Art night delivery or like, you know, Night at the Gates of Hell still feels like an excessive amount of money for like a 3-hour experience that isn't that great in my opinion. So like I wanted to inject a bit more, you know, personal opinion in the stuff, but I only really wanted to look at the things that are in like the highly recommended playlist, or like, but I guess not just the highly recommended playlist, because I can't really do just that. I would have to like look at other things as well. I was kind of, I wanted to, at one point I wanted to cover like nearly every game that I had talked about, but like that's going to be a ridiculously long buying guide. So I just wanted to like refine it down to pretty much just the essentials of like what would be, you know, the games that I would say are the best for their money. I wanted to do like my original idea was like a tier list sort of thing where I'm like, well, this is like the best, you know, this one's to start off with. Because you've got like the free games, the games that are like really good for the price that they get at the normal price. I'm not talking about stuff that's on sale, of course, like, you know. So like at the default price, like £12 for Darkwoods, great. It really is. Like, but like not every game is going to be in that sort of category. You get what I'm saying. So yeah, I wanted to move down the list of the games that are like 100% not worth it, where I'd be like, one thing I was thinking of as well is like I didn't want to go down too far because I don't want to make it look like I'm just dunking on certain games because it doesn't seem very fair. But there are certain games that are 100% I would say not worth it. Like, you know, I think it's like £5-6 to play Emily Wants to Play, and I would never suggest that anybody play that game. I mean, I really don't like it. It's one of the few games that I like personally don't like and don't see any reward in it. Oh, that's another video that I was going to talk about. One thing that I really wanted to do, I think before I did this video, was the whole personal opinion versus like professional opinion thing. And I've started to do it a bit more in the reviews from the way that I'm writing them. Because I remember there was a point where I did it more than I'm doing it now, and I'm starting to realize that I'm writing something very generic at the end of the reviews, because there's the post-story section where I do basically like a conclusion summary, and I decided for the In Sound Mind one, I would, you know, say I really like In Sound Mind. I liked playing In Sound Mind, but I didn't think it was a good horror game at all. And that's the sort of thing that I want to talk about with this upcoming one, where I'm going to basically just sort of go on about how like this trademark answer is going to be just literally comparing my original Evil Within review to the new Evil Within review, where I'll be like, my personal opinion tells me that I just don't like playing the game, and I don't. Like, I'm not going to pretend that I do. I'm never going to change my stance on that. But it is a good horror game. Like, I can look at the elements of it and be like, yes, you know, the atmosphere is good. This does work. Like, this, you know, the game does have some frightening moments. I wouldn't say it's very frightening, that game. I wouldn't say that at all. I think I failed it for the scares when I played it. I don't really remember very many scary moments in that game. But like, you know, there are loads of parts where like the gore, I thought at the time, like I remember being like, the gore just feels ridiculously excessive to the point. And the thing is, I was saying that because I just didn't enjoy the game. Like it felt ridiculously excessive, but then like when I stopped and slowed down and took it in a bit more, like, you know, things felt better. Like my approach on it changed just because like I don't know. I was taking. I could look past it, past the like the disappointment I had from just playing the game, and I'm not really here. I'm not making a traditional type of review where I just state whether I like the game or not, which is, I think, the most confounding thing for people to understand for the channel. And I decided, like, you know, it's been 5 years or whatever now at this point. I might as well just make the video where I just say personal opinion versus professional opinion, because there are a load of games that I like. You know, I've recently we just stopped, literally only like a couple of minutes ago, stopped playing Mundawn, and I love Mundawn, but I don't think it's particularly frightening. It has a lot of stuff in it that is frightening to me. Like, I don't like the bees in it. I don't like the straw growing over your hands. I find that repulsive. I really don't like that. But would I say it's necessarily scary? And I'm like, no, not really, because there's so much downtime in the game that, like, you know, whilst there are one or two really, you know, creepy, like, disturbing moments, I wouldn't say that it's, like, frightening at all. So like I gotta look at the, I can't just look at the moments that scared me personally. I gotta look at it like overall. And the whole personal versus professional thing is probably going to be quite hard to write and hard to explain, because I find it hard to explain sometimes, where I'm like, yeah, I think it's good, but like I don't like it. I can, like, my opinion on the gameplay and stuff is usually what lets me down for Evil Within, but like I don't think if I just sat there and said, yeah, I don't like the game. I mean, I already had sat down there and said, yeah, I don't like the gameplay at all. I think the gameplay's terrible, and like there are loads of double standards in it. There are loads of things that frustrate me about the Evil Within when it comes to just talking about how like the proximity mines don't work on the enemies, and like when it comes to double standards in games, I really don't tolerate them very much. Like when I'm like, all right, so that trip mine just doesn't detect, well, the trip mines do, but like the proximity mines don't detect enemies. I'm like, oh, okay. And I don't know if there's like a lore reason for that, like, if they're all hallucinations or something. I don't know, but it was one of those things that like, set me off immediately down this path of just feeling really annoyed. And I never really let it go. Like I think the general concept of it behind like a lot of that game specifically. I'm really going into this now, but was just the whole shifting from one thing to the next. I felt sometimes made me feel like lost in the game, and then it was like, I think there was a zero punctuation video where the guy said how he felt that they just Googled horror and then put it into the game. And there is like a certain, part of me that agrees with that wholeheartedly. But like, looking at the atmosphere and taking in things and stuff, I have to admit when something's good, but I doesn't mean I have to like it. So yeah, there's a lot of that, and I don't know how I'm going to do that video, but that's a video that I've got to do at some point. So that's the buying guide and the personal versus professional opinion. But I'm doing another one, maybe potentially before those two as well, because the buying guide's going to take a long time. But I wanted to do one on jump scares and cutscenes, because I said at the end of the scripted event video that what I was going to do was talk about how cutscenes affect the experience, because I've seen a load of games where just the horror happens in the cutscene but nowhere else, and one of them is pretty much I played Bloodwash recently, and Bloodwash has lots of just cutscene horror moments where, like, you watch a guy just get murdered in front of you, but you can't interact or do anything because it's essentially a cutscene. Like, and I was like, I'm not scared by any of this because it's not happening to me. You know what I mean? Like, you're there experiencing it, watching it happen in front of you, but it's not interactive in any way. I don't feel like I have to do anything. There's nothing I can do to prevent this. I just have to sit here and watch it. And that lack of interactivity is what makes that sort of thing feel less, I don't know, impactful, because of just, how static it is. And I think a lot of people agreed in the comments for some of the, like, supermassive games. So, like, Until Dawn and stuff like that, people always say that there's not enough interactivity for them to find the game scary. And I always find that really fascinating, because, like, there are some moments I remember where I jumped the first time I played Until Dawn, but, like, throughout the series, I found it less and less, impactful. I mean, there can be some quite tense moments when you're, like, doing the QTEs, but other than that, I don't think there's really anything to be afraid of in those games. I just like them anyway. But, like, whilst I was looking at the cutscenes, I thought I might as well talk about the jump scares as well, because that's really all those games kind of have. Besides the QTEs, there are jump scares. And the question that I've posted not long ago on the community page was basically, do you like jump scares? and I put yes, no, and only when they're earned. And the overwhelming number of people as of, I don't know, like 2 hours after I posted it was just only when they're earned. And I can appreciate that. Like, you know, I felt if I could just say yes or no, it would have been too black or white, because, you know, saying you do or you don't doesn't really factor into something like this. So, like, only when earned is like going to be, I feel like, at least 95% of the votes, because really that's it though. I don't know anybody who plays horror games that's like, yes, I really love jump scares, because they do just sometimes feel cheap. Like, you're not afraid of a jump scare. I mean, you are. That's something to talk about too, because like one of the games that I think does the most towards that is like Five Nights at Freddy's, where like 99% of that game is you waiting for the inevitable jump scare or being afraid of the jump scare that you know is coming. Like, the game is almost certainly just dread. Just the whole thing is just dread. Like when you lose sight of one of the animatronics, or like when you like realize the power's getting low, like the dread just builds the entire time, and you know that jump scare is coming, and when it comes, it scares you, but then it's over. So like, was it really the jump scare that was like what you were afraid of, or was it the entire experience building up to it? What's the scary part of that game? And that was something that I wanted to look at as well, like within this cutscenes and jump scares video. I'm not sure if I'm going to do them both together. I might just do them separately depending on how the writing goes. But yeah, that's another one that I wanted to do. So that's all of the stuff for the special videos. Let's just talk about all the other games that I've got to do as well. I've basically got the entirety of February and most of March recorded to talk about, and there are some outliers. Like I feel kind of bad that literally I haven't started Silent Hill Shattered Memories because of the problems that I've been experiencing with the game capture with that. So I was really pleased a while ago when I bought the game physically on the Wii, and it took me a while to get some cables so that I could like hook up the actual Wii and play it. And then when I recorded it, I was doing like an hour's worth of recording, and it was getting up to like 120 something gigabytes worth of, you know, footage, because the whole thing is covered in film grain, and just, yeah, I couldn't keep recording that way. Like, I don't have enough storage space to get through the whole game, and I was finding it frustrating as well because the Wii was not ideal I was just having a hard time with the chase sequences. It's not a game that I generally like, but that didn't make it any easier. So I ended up getting a copy of the PlayStation 2 version, and like, we're going to be playing that probably on an emulator just because it seems to run better. So I'll be playing it that way. But I haven't started that yet, and I got to test it first, so that's just maybe I might have to go back to the Wii version. But yeah, that was one of the ones that people voted for in Power to the Patrons, which I feel bad about. Like, those of, you know, everyone asked for that, but everyone also asked for Curse, Eye of Isis, which I haven't been able to play until potentially after I stop recording now. I might get on with that, but I also have like this video to edit now. The other one was Lust from Beyond, and I hit such a hard brick wall in the game with Lust from Beyond because of how I'm at pretty much that there are only 4 bars of health, and I'm at the first bar, so I'm like, you know, pretty much nearly dead, and I'm stuck in an environment where I have no idea what I'm meant to do. Loads and loads of enemies in the area that will literally kill me in a single hit, and just some completely nebulous puzzles that I can't figure out for the life of me. I like using the word nebulous a lot, really, I don't know why. But I was just kind of like, I was literally looking at downloading somebody's save game so that I can continue afterwards, and when I did try to do that, I realized that like the save game that I would be loading from was like probably about 30 minutes afterwards, and it seemed like some quite substantial stuff had happened, and I was like, I guess I can't do that. So I'm sort of I'm at a loss for that one at the moment, because it doesn't have like automatic saving, or like, I mean, it does have automatic saving. It doesn't have like individual save games that you can load, so I can't go back to a previous save and like try and do it again with more health. I am stuck in this one point in time where I'm running around with next to no health, like a tiny little blade and a dude that can kill me in one hit, as well as a bunch of other enemies in the area. It's confounding as well, because they've chosen like a really large enemy who will follow you very slowly throughout the level. Like, doesn't matter if you're hiding or not, I can't seem to get away from him, but like if I can't hide from the other enemies while this one guy is chasing me. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. It seems like bad design, but I can't figure out how I'm supposed to get away from this. Because I can't hide, but I can't run either, because if I run, everyone will trigger after me, but I can't hide because he finds me no matter what. So I seem to have just... I don't know what I'm doing wrong there, but I've definitely done something wrong. So yeah, that's that one. Want to just... Hang on, I'm just scrolling back to see if what else there was in that list. I know there was another one. Where was it? Oh man, it was a long time ago now. Oh god, was this like September? I only just realized how long ago this was. Four months later. Oh god, here it is, yes. Yeah, the other one was the cat lady. Now the cat lady I have the cat lady I've got to set up on a different computer because it runs at 640 by 480 or some really low resolution. And if I do screen capture from this my computer to play the game, then it sort of butchers the recording, which is you know, I've like no, like beside literally all of these I've hit some sort of brick wall with, and I feel like, man, like I've only done like 2 of these and I've already like I'm kind of stuck. So but yeah, I mean one of the other ones, no, I finished 2 of the ones that people didn't vote for because they were easier to do. But yeah, I'll probably be doing another one of these soon, and I'll exclude these games but still be working on them. I do want to get them done, but I just feel bad. I've played so much. I think what annoys me the most is I've played like at least like 70% of Lust from Beyond, and now I'm stuck and can't move on. So I don't know what to do with that. I mean, the other ones I haven't started because of technical issues. And Curse Eye of Isis, I've got no problem with that. I can just get on with that in a bit. But I might just do another one with all the other games that I've got, because I've ended up getting quite a lot of games recently. But it's what people are interested in, and I think that's the hardest thing for me to discover at the moment. I don't really know what a lot of people want me to cover, and I don't really know the latest possible things that are coming out, and I can't afford the latest possible things that are coming out. So yeah, there's that. Going back to the stuff that I have finished to talk about, we've got Hell Coming, which I think I must have talked about Hell Coming at some point. I have some footage for it behind me. It was a multiplayer game, and most of it, I mean, there were some pretty scary moments, but most of it was just tedious, I guess, in a way. Not the worst that I've played, but like, you know, not great. Resident Evil 5 was one in that list that I was talking about a minute ago of things people didn't really vote for, but I've finished anyway. Fears to Fathom Castle House. Amnesia the Great Work. The Mothered video, finished that. I'm going to talk about the PT version of Doom, which is pretty cool. Fears to Fathom Ironbark Lookout. Graveyard Shift, which I finished, and I'm actually working on that one now. I finished recording it, and I just felt like writing the review for it so I can get it up there. I've moved Lust from Beyond till March because I'm hoping to get around the issue to finish the game, because it's taking up a lot of storage space, you know, the game footage, and I want to, you know, get it done. Then I got Welcome to Kowloon, and I also recorded Chiller's Art Night Delivery, which I mentioned earlier, and that's just one that I've done. I was a bit on the fence about that one, how horror it was, but it did sort of go that way in the end, but it is kind of feels a little tacked on. So yeah, there's that. I put Silent Hill Shattered Memories as one of the potential Halloween videos because I want to get one the last Silent Hill video done, because there aren't any more to work on at the moment unless Silent Hill 2 Remake comes out sometime this year. And I'm not really looking forward to talking about that, but I'll probably get to play it. I've got Burnhouse Lane, which I've already mentioned before, Dark Pictures Anthology Devil in Me, and then Sally Face, which I finished. And I'm going to add Sally Face. Well, all of those ones that I've just mentioned are going to be going into the Halloween lineup, potentially. And if it gets close to the time and I can't get it done, then I'll be, putting them elsewhere. But yeah, that's all the stuff that I've been working on. Things have been good in the recording department. I've got lots of recording done. I recorded I mentioned this in the Mundorn video that will go up before this. I got Bloodwash recorded. I got Iron Lung recorded. I got Little Nightmares recorded. I started work on Metro 2033, which has been a pain to get to run properly because I don't have any footage for these games. I want to get Penumbra Overture working because I seem to have a big frame rate problem with that game. No matter what I play the game on, I'm going to try it on one of the older computers and see if that helps. But I don't know I can't seem to get a decent frame rate out of that game at all, but I want to talk about it. There was a couple of other ones that I remember that I've started. There are loads of ones that I've started playing. I started playing The Dark Occult, which was a spooky haunted house puzzle box kind of game, and that was pretty cool, but I don't know how frightening I would call it. Not very at the moment. I bought a bunch of stuff. I've got Choo Choo Charles and My Friendly Neighborhood, and that's sort of like post-ironic horror game trope. I've been playing a lot of Bendy and the Ink Machine. No, Bendy and the Dark Revival even, to get to the end of that. I'm making good progress on the games in terms of recording, but I've only really finished a couple of them to put them into the list. And I want to get in the next 10-15 days all the stuff that's on the to-do list or the schedule done, so that I can go back to recording and get as much recording done as possible, because balancing the time between the two of them is really hard when you're doing both. So I want to get as many of these ones done as possible. I mean, honestly, even if I just get halfway through February, I've got loads of time to finish recording a lot of these games. But I've been more in a recording mood than a writing mood at the moment, so it's been kind of hard. You can't really force it sometimes. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about at the moment that I can think of. I'm sure I'll remember something in about half an hour's time that I wanted to mention, but there you go. Sorry for the delay in the update. I really wanted to post this at the start of this year alongside the New Year's resolution video, because there's loads of stuff in the New Year's resolution video I didn't end up getting to talk about either, because there was, I don't know, possibly another 20-30 games that I just did not get to mention, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, thank you again for supporting the channel and everything. It really means a lot to me, and it's really helped me a lot this year pay for the kind of things that I need to pay for to make the kind of videos that I want to make. I don't talk about this very much, where the money goes, but the money usually either goes towards either games or hardware, and the big thing at the moment has been storage space. My God, has it been storage space. Because trying to rebuild the archive so that I can use more footage for more examples in games is brilliant. The scripted events video, I had to go back and record certain things to try and fit in all the gaps that I could, and whilst I had some things laying around, some things I did not have at all, and then I'm sitting there with the writing process going oh, you know what, it would have been really good if I had that to talk about, but I haven't got time to play through the entire game again. So yeah, and for this upcoming buying guide video, it's been really helpful to have more storage space so that I can just store the games on there and then talk about them when the time comes. So yeah, thank you for that, because it does lead to better videos. I don't like cutting examples out that I want to use, so thank you very much. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you next time.